Howdy, Possum Patty here with my festive October headband on. I have the lights on. It's got this one strange feather on the top that keeps poking up. Looks like a crow sitting up there. Isn't that funny? Anyway, it's October, it's fall, y'all, and I'm just journaling. Got a couple of different projects on the desk going on, so come on along. A few things on the desk from the mess yesterday. And you might recognize this because I did a little collage work in my mini trashies last night. I was in the mood to put some fall images in here. And I did paste that one down. I think that's where I ended it right there. But it did get pasted down, glued down. And I know a few times I talked about doing something to the spine because it was just a piece of Tyvek. And this material I bought at the Dollar Tree was still on the table. I bought this from my Frida Kahlo little golden book journal. And I was like, that might look good with this color and the green and the red. So I added that material to the spine. And then I had this little piece of envelope. You can see it goes over to the other side. It just folded around. It's quite festive. Quite festive. I used part of this for something in the not too distant past. The scraps are still sitting over there. And so I added that on. So now it's looking pretty festive. And the back was, you know, just information. It was just printing from the cough drops there. So I was like, and I went through that pile. See, I got a pile over here. Let me show you. I got a pile of stuff. And this was, I got a little bit here somewhere. Dollar Tree Crafter Square stickers. It was the backing for the stickers. I said, well, that's pretty cool. Also looks festive. So now my cover of my book is looking a little bit more complete, a little more festive. I can add something to the back. I can see all the glue I smooshed on here, and maybe some more to the front, but I like it. It's coming along. It's coming along. I got quite a few fall things in here yesterday, so yeah, so I'm liking it. I really like the cover a lot better now. So I did that. Let me put that back over on the shelf and get to World War I. I also started this yesterday. I did this photo of Grandpa Vito Antonio in World War I. And I said I was going to make like a flap and use some more of this old paper for the background on the page. But I did the same method. I took the Jot glue, put it in a cup, added just a little bit of water, and with a paintbrush, I smoothed it all over the page, and I put the paper down. This is paper from the 1938 book. And then I covered it over again with the glue and water, and it's still a little wet, but not too bad. I didn't think I'd be able to work in here tonight, but yeah, it's still wet. I can leave that, maybe finish that tomorrow and work on another page. All right, so Mr. Possum and I and Flat Stanley went to the World War I Aviation weekend at the American Heritage Museum last month. And they had this plane visiting from the Rhinebeck Aerodrome in New York. And I think it is the oldest fighter plane, you know, that's still in working condition and flies around. The original Newport 28. The museum was open, the historic aircraft hangar was open, the race car display, and the classic car barn were all open. And we sat outside and the planes were flying around. Then they had a mini demonstration, some re-enactors there. This is a really cool place. I know I journaled about it before. We went back because the time we were there, the aircraft weren't there and the car barn wasn't open. So we decided we'd go back another day. And I was thinking about just gluing this down. I don't know if I need all of this though, but I definitely want this. Oh, this explains about it. So maybe I'll just glue it in like this. And then I'm going to put some pictures because I want to save this because this says it all there. This is the place where you can actually drive a World War II tank. Very cool. Very expensive, but very cool. And this is going to take up almost the whole page, so I do need to put something down first. I need to put a paper down, and then I'm going to glue this down. And I want to leave this picture there, and I'm going to glue it down so you can open it up because the information about it's there, and the map, and the schedule, and explanation there. All right, so this is an upcoming event. So I could use this page for my journaling because this isn't about the day that we went. So maybe that would work out perfectly. Yes, I think so. So I got to cover this page and cover this page and glue that part down, and then I'll be able to open it up, and I'll put journaling here so you can open it that way and you can open it that way. So I need to find some paper. I don't think I'm going to use this again because it'll take all night to dry. So I'd like to at least get one page done. I don't have too many packs of paper that are just thin paper. This is something I bought at the flea market. Cheap, cheap. So I think I'll go with this chevron. Looking for something a little more, not flowers. And you're not going to see most of it anyway. So I just need to get this in here. So I'm going to cut this down and put it on there and then glue that other thing down and then put a piece of paper in that. So I'll link below the spread I did about the museum because I think I gave a lot of information about what was there. Everything from a World War I trench to pieces of the Twin Towers that went down in 9/11. So it's a very interesting museum. And like I said, we went back because some parts of the museum weren't open the day we had gone. They're only open on special events. So we picked this one because they were going to have the old planes there. And there were 2 planes actually flying. And like I said, one was like the oldest fighter plane flying anywhere. And then there was one that was a little bit newer. But the guys who take care of these things and repair them and keep them in running order and fly them around, got to be amazing. These aircraft are so old. They had a little like encampment with, you know, army tents and a couple of reenactors, you know, set up with tables of things from World War I on it. You can learn a little bit about what was going on with the mess kits and uniforms and supplies that they had or didn't have, I guess. A lot of things. They didn't have a lot of things in those days, let me tell you. And there was an ambulance, and there was a woman who was dressed like a Red Cross nurse, explaining a little bit about, you know, what the nurses, what kind of training they had and what they did. So I think a lot of their training was basically on the job. And the more experienced, oh, sorry, I'm sliding all around today. Let me fix this. Hold on. Oops. Try that. Let's try that. Yeah, the more training they had, you know, then they kind of moved up in rank a little bit, so. Okay, this is gonna just about cover that whole thing, but that's okay. Got a little bit of color on the edge instead of a plain page, and then I'll just use the rest to do the inside. So I'm going to glue this down. If I get busy, then I forget what I'm talking about. I'm not a good yacker and worker at the same time. So let's see. So we had an ambulance. Oh, so this is a funny story. All right, let's go here while I glue this down. So you may not know this about Possum Patty, but back in the early to mid 70s, Possum Patty was an EMT and worked on an ambulance and became a member of the Civil Air Patrol. I know. I was in the Civil Air Patrol. Right? This is funny. And somewhere on this mess on the desk, I went down into the magical basement and actually found, I'll show them to you in a minute after I get this glued down, if I can find them, my Civil Air Patrol identification, my EMT license, all that stuff. And so while we were at this, you know, in the little encampment there where they had the ambulance and all the reenactors, Mr. Possum asked the guy with the ambulance if I could sit in the ambulance for a picture. Now, he wasn't letting anybody else in the ambulance. So the guy laughed and said, okay, $20. Well, I hope he was just kidding because we didn't give him the $20. Although it might have been a nice thing to do. I was a little embarrassed. I think my face was turning red. Mr. Possum's like, just get in, get in, get in. I want to get your picture in there. So I was talking to the guy. He was really nice. I said, well, you know, I really was, you know, an ambulance worker, and I did belong to the Civil Air Patrol, but I don't think he believed me. I don't even think Mr. Possum believed that I did that. So that's why I went downstairs to find all that stuff. So, because I don't have any pictures. You know, back in the day, we didn't like take pictures of every little single thing we did. Although it would have been nice to have some pictures of the ambulance company I worked for. So I just cut down a scrap to fit on this side. It's going to be my journaling page. Yeah, so I sat in the ambulance, and another young gentleman It was so sweet, the young guy. He said here, and he handed me his World War I helmet to wear while I had my picture taken in the ambulance. These people were so nice. Yeah, so when we do like Veterans Day stuff, and my husband was a veteran, and my brother's a veteran, and all these guys are veterans. I said, well, you guys were off in Vietnam. I said, I was protecting the home front. I was on the Civil Air Patrol, working on the ambulance. They just laughed at me. I did my civic duty. Yes, I did. Now, the coolest thing about being in the Civil Air Patrol was they gave you this little identification card. I don't know if I have that card. I gotta look. Like I said, let me get this glued down and then I'll go look for some stuff. That said that in the case of emergency that I was allowed to exceed the speed limit. So I actually had a card that let me speed. But, you know, I guess it had to be an emergency, so. How's that? It kind of goes with it, right? Kind of looks like a, I don't know what this is. Something that would be an airplane pattern, right? These chevrons. Oh, that's down. Once it's down, it's down. It's on Possum straight. I don't know, I got something all over my hand here. All right, so. And this will get journaled on and get some pictures. So you can open it this way, or you can open it this way. So I'm going to leave that, but I'm going to journal here. All right, let me find those other cards. Okay, so this has my previous married name on it. But this is to certify that the Department of Transportation Basic Training Program for Emergency Medical Technician Ambulance 81-hour course offered by the Emergency Medical Services Training Program at the University of Missouri Columbia Medical Center on December 18th, 1975. So this was my EMT license. I have no idea what they look like today. They're probably not little pieces of paper. And here is my certification. I guess I completed the requirements. I guess it's your graduation thing. And then here's my civil defense and disaster relief. My name, where I lived. Wow, skinny back then. Emergency medical, rank EMT. Civil defense identification card. It is essential that the bearer be permitted to travel by fastest possible means to or within the county to perform necessary civil defense duties. Yes, that was me. All authorities are requested to render all possible aid in getting bearer to his destination. Yes, that's me. All right, so I wanted to put these on a page. I want to do a page with the ambulance. Am I going to do it in here? I could do it in here, can't I? All right, stand by. Okay, had to take a minute there to try and figure out what I would do here. So I found these little ATC envelopes to put the EMT and civil defense and disaster relief things in. And I printed out the close-up of me with the helmet on. And I thought I would put it here. I trim that down a little bit. And then I printed out a larger one so you could see the ambulance. And I thought I would put that underneath. I might distress this because everything here is so old. All right, let me put this together so I can get an idea of what I'm doing. So this has to go down on there. Yeah, I worked on the ambulance when I was in college. It was a good job for a college student because while you're waiting between calls, you can do your reading assignments. Of course, in those days, we didn't have computers for all that. We actually sat and read books. Amazing, huh? Amazing, amazing. I know you're all saying, well, Possum Patty, if you don't put so much glue on there, then you won't get glue all over the place. But if I don't get glue all over the place, then it pops up. The edges always pop up. I can't help it. I can't help it. It's a thing. Just don't touch the picture with your hands like you just did. I'm using another paper from the pack. It's got the same colors as the chevron, but it is a floral pattern. I said I wasn't going to use a floral pattern, and then I used a floral pattern. Does that happen like every single video? Like every single time? I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, it's not that I don't know what I'm doing, but things change, they evolve. Gotta go with it. Gotta be intuitive. Like you have a sort of semi-plan, but you know, as you go along, you might have to change it. And now it looks old, sort of. Not the photo, but okay, now I gotta get back into this little bag here. Okay. So I thought if I stagger these a little bit, I wanted to put the civil defense on the top, showing out maybe. Can I do that? That might not work. Then I could I also thought about doing this. Putting these three here like that. Move that down a little bit maybe. Covering up that picture, but then putting this up here like that, and then this one can flip up, and then these would flip out like that, 1, 2, 3, and there would be the ambulance underneath. Okay, whatever I do, I'm probably going to put this down first. Maybe I should distress this a little bit too. Edge is very white. This one I just printed out, you know, with the printer for the computer. And I'm just going to glue it on there. Like so. And then after I glue that down, I will figure out what I'm going to do here and come back and show you. Okay, this is what I'm going to go with tonight, and then I'll probably come back tomorrow and work a little bit more on there because this is almost dry now. And this is still wet. But there's the picture of me. I know there's going to be glare because it's in the plastic. With the World War I helmet on, and that will flip up. And then here's all my ambulance credentials. I'll have to hold this down because this is wet. And they will flip out like that. And there is the picture of me on the World War I ambulance. Right there. So that is it for today. But I'm making progress. This is a complicated spread with things that have to dry for a while, but I'll come back and do some more pages. That's why sometimes it's good to have a couple of things to work in. Like I worked in that little mini collage book a little bit and a little bit in here, but I'll come back tomorrow and just do some more journaling. So thanks for coming along today, and happy junk journaling. Bye-bye.
It proved itself to be maneuverable.